Well, speaking of going public through a merger, we have some good news, chat. At least I think so. You know how they are trying to make Trump pay $450 million is what it amounts to after taxes and whatever else. Not inflation, but either way, $450 million is what they're trying to get Trump to pay in New York. And we looked into the case. It looks cooked. It looks bullshit. Well, where's Trump going to find that money? Where is Trump going to find $450 million to pay them off? Quite aside from all the legal costs he's had to pay. Well, as it turns out, it's not going to be difficult. The SEC agrees to let Donald Trump take Truth Social public. He owns $4 billion in shares at its current valuation. That's not $4 billion in cash, but it can become $4 billion in cash if he decides to sell the shares. So Trump has basically just got $4 billion in cash with one layer removed. So I think he'll be all right. I think if he decided to sell off, if he did, I'm not sure he should, but if he did decide to sell off his entire shares in Truth Social, he would have easily enough for the entire campaign, the general, not just the primaries. He's been made to pay $83 million to this awful woman, $350 million, which is in fact $450 million after the various increases to this awful man, and nope, $4 billion. I'll just take it. The Securities Exchange Commission has approved a merger of Truth Social and Digital World Acquisition Corporation, which is currently listed on the Nasdaq Stock Exchange. Effectively, the merger will take Truth Social public. The merger is estimated to be worth $10 billion. Trump currently owns 79 million shares of Truth Social. At its current valuation, that means Trump just minted himself a cool $4 billion.
Category, is there any good financial news for Trump?
Yeah, so very interesting. And Audie, in fact, was the one who pointed this out to me. Trump's Truth Social share worth. So back in 2022, it was about 700 million. Last year, it was less than 100 million. But there's this idea, essentially, that Truth Social will, in fact, be able to go public. And how much would Trump's shares be worth if it does, in fact, go public? It could be upwards of $4 billion. That's billion with a B, not million with an M. Now, of course, keep in mind that Trump can't sell these stocks for another 6 months. But the fact is, we've had all this bad news for Trump. This could be good financial news for Donald Trump.
Harry.
Thank you, CNN, for expressing that in an actually somewhat unbiased way. So there's more to this. Like, there's all kinds of complex rules about how all this money stuff and publicly traded and stocks and shares works. That a lot of it I do not understand. A lot of it, at least I don't know how to produce the information on it. But this article fills in some of the details. The left is having trouble accepting the news. Here are the three main types of comments reacting to in the news. This guy's saying that valuation is just as crooked as the ones he got cleaned for. This guy's saying Trump's $4 billion Truth Social windfall would be off limits for legal costs. And this guy is saying Trump didn't get $4 billion. Truth Social isn't going public. There is a merger deal with DWAC that will make it public, but their shareholders haven't even voted on the merger yet. They're not the B article who responds to those three things. So let's address these in order, they say. 1, the valuation is not correct. The valuation is based on today's stock price of DWAC, so while it's true that it could fall and Trump's position would be worth less, it could also drastically increase and it could be worth a lot more. 2, Trump can't use the money for legal costs. That's true too. He would have to sell some shares to raise the money in cash to cover his legal costs, as I said earlier. However, he does not need to put up nearly $500 million New York judges have arbitrarily said he owes. He only needs to come up with 10% for a bond while he appeals. And I doubt someone like Trump will have any trouble scratching up $50 million. I doubt very much those excessively high penalties will hold on appeal, says the author of this article. I hope he's right. And 3, the shareholders of DWAC haven't voted on the deal yet. This is also true. The shareholders still need to vote to finalize the merger. However, the entire purpose for DWAC's existence is to take Truth Social public, and the SEC and the Department of Justice have been fighting the merger at every step. This approval from the SEC is the culmination of years of legal battles. If the investors vote against the merger, the company dissolves, and they lose $300 million. I kind of think they'll vote yes, he says. Now, this is the part that I understand the least about, but I'm willing to take his word for it. So it seems like it's a pretty sure thing that Trump's going to have access to this money with some caveats, but essentially he will have access to this money. Researching all of this, I have to say I'm very seriously impressed. Trump is a money-making machine, straight up four-dimensional chess player, he says. They will just eat that $300 million. You don't understand. Yeah, no, I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know about that. Well, we'll see what happens. But the article sounds confident. This is not an area of my expertise. Willing to take its word for it, that it will go ahead. And so good for Trump. There's a little win there for Trump. I was a little concerned that perhaps, obviously he's a rich guy. Obviously he can afford. I wasn't concerned about the 83 million. But you add on the 450, it's becoming a bit concerning because that's about the price that you could spend on an entire presidential run that he's being charged for some nonsense, some trumped up, ironically, nonsense from New York. But the fact that he can just generate 4 billion like that. Truth Social was just a project of his a few years ago. He just used it to post on, just basically a blog. And now he's going to make 4 billion from it, potentially. It's pretty impressive. This is why they charged him with that much. Maybe so, children. Maybe so, yeah. Truth isn't as big as Twitter, but has much more. Yeah, of course it's not as big as Twitter. Much more robust and rigorous user engagement. Stop driving its value. That's good. I haven't used it. I think I have an account there, but I haven't used it. But Trump does, and that's all it takes. If the thing is though, if Trump, because I think part of the reason Trump has Truth Social is so that he has an outlet that he knows is not biased, or he knows is going to follow his bias. So he knows it's not going to censor him at all, and that makes sense. But if he sells off enough of his shares, then that will start to be encroached upon by other entities, whoever he sells the shares to. Now, I don't know with a public traded company if you would actually control who can buy them. I think that's exactly the point, is you can't control who can buy them. I may be wrong about that. But if that's the case, then you could get you could get a bunch of punters buying it, yes, but you're more likely to get some massive investment agency or firm or whatever the right word is, buying up a huge amount of it that could have a bias, that could actually want to sabotage it, that could be trying to get in there early. So however much of it he sells, the establishment might buy in order to try and influence it. But ultimately, if he needs to sell a large portion of it, then he probably is confident enough that he'll just go to Twitter. I think Twitter has Alex Jones on it. Twitter has all kinds of other formerly censored voices. I don't think they would censor Trump again. People would lose confidence very quickly with Elon at that point and would be seeking an alternative, as with Trump. And he has the money to create one. Even though Trump is about 100 times less wealthy than Elon, he's still wealthy enough to create a quick blogging platform.